It's
So
time.
we're gonna blitz down the coast, give us a reasonable frontage here for our order. And I don't think we're even going to meet any resistance. I think we're just going to sweep across. I don't know that they really have any answer to this. Now that
Not with the U.S. in and
Yeah,
kicking butt and taking names.
the U.S. Navy's here. I honestly don't even know if they're going to be able to land anything on our coast at this point.
To be honest, too, we're queuing political power faster than we can spend it. We might want to consider doing one of those modification focuses. I think we've researched enough to do one soon.
Which one?
Go into that southwest.
Oh yeah, these are mutually exclusive, so we can't run one. We can't run one of those while we're also running a historical focus.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah, they're basically for when you run out of historical focuses to do, you can do the repeatable ones. So we are going to take some attrition because this is one of the least hospitable places for an army to move across on Earth in 1942. Probably even still today. This is not an area that you really want to march large-scale military forces across the interior of Papua New Guinea. But
we're taking our holdings back.
yeah, we're rough and ready. We can handle some attritional losses. Hopefully, we don't lose too much veterancy from it. We've got a nice, except for the Forgotten Sons, we've got a nice padding of experience points. We shouldn't lose too much by swapping in some rookies.
Rookies benefit from veterans in military forces, too.
Yeah.
It's something that Ultimate General Civil War, by the way, illustrates just incredibly. Like, I'm so excited to see that feature and how it worked.
Yeah.
That, your units benefit from having the survivors of engagements on it, but you have to constantly keep your units supplied with new green men, which gives you the numbers to operate, more broadly and with more impact. But the more you saturate a unit with raw recruits, the less veterancy it retains. I like that.
Well, and the thing that Ultimate General does that Hearts of Iron doesn't is it gives you control over how much, fresh replenishment you want going into your army.
Do you want 500 green recruits right out of boot camp, or do you want 50?
Yeah, so you can choose between having smaller, more elite units or larger,
Well, and I do believe that if small numbers of recruits...
Yugoslavia joined the Allies.
That's good.
Volunteer forces... Okay, so now that Yugoslavia is on the Allies, that one division they sent us is being sent back to... lots of play going on between Allies and Axis in northeastern Africa.
Hopefully the United States is sending some divisions there. That tide needs to turn, or the war could get difficult. The war in Europe could get difficult.
Yeah, well, the war in Europe is already pretty difficult.
And they just won't attack the Soviets, man. What are the Soviets doing?
Let's take a look and see if we have enough. We should have enough intel to see what everyone is doing. War with the USSR. There we go. And Stalin's doing Lessons of War, which is a pretty good focus for preparing for German invasion. So yeah, the Ostfront is about to open up.
Which should be just as tide turning as...
Norway is in the Allies, right? Yeah, so they've failed to invade Norway so far. Although Germany has gotten a lot better at that in this patch because they actually use Fallschirmjäger correctly. And paratroopers were a huge part of why Germany was able to take Norway, even though they were not a dominant naval power, and it's all mountains, and it's a terrible place to invade by land. If you have paratroopers that were as good as the German Fallschirmjäger in World War II, it makes that a lot easier for you. That looks like a cavalry garrison division, so I'm just going to try to surround it and kill it off.
Smart. We are evicting the Japanese folks.
Yeah, that's not even a real division. That's some cavalry they left behind for partisan suppression. It's some guys on horses with freaking handguns, probably.
Fully entrenched, obviously. That's why they're giving us a little trouble.
And they're on a naval base, so they can get supplies even if we surround them, but the encirclement penalty will eventually become too much for them to... United States agrees to Pacific cooperation. Seeing the obvious benefits of Trans-Pacific Partnership, the United States has agreed to our proposal of a regional alliance. Oh, cool! So they're still in the war, but they've left the Allies and joined our faction. The old masters are dead. We are all equals now.
That's incredible.
Ameristralia! We don't need no Britain! I mean, technically we do because of Hitler.
Yes.
Alright, with concern over the growing strategic importance of the Pacific, Australia and the United States have signed a treaty of Pacific cooperation, although intended to maintain their political stability of the region, and by extension trans-Pacific shipping. The treaty also involves contingencies for military defense, allowing the two countries to exert authority far beyond their actual territorial claims. With such a vast area now under Australo-American protection, it is surely only a matter of time before these contingencies will be put to the test. This will ensure our place as the dominant power in the Pacific. So let's take a look. Southwest Pacific Initiative includes the Philippines, Australia, the United States, and I think that's it at this point. I would love to get New Zealand in on this.
And
So
to be
great.
quite frank, poor Britain, they're probably shitting their pants.
Yeah.
Like, what has happened to the world?
Yeah. I brought you into this world.
That, by the way, that is ahistorical, I believe. There was no Southwest Pacific Partnership, I don't believe, was there?
No.
Nothing like this. I knew that we were
Military.
obviously...
Okay, now all of the Commonwealth countries are asking for treaties with us because they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, this...
No, don't. What are you doing, dude?
That is
There we go.
that is the death knell of British imperial power, that pact we just signed.
Yep.
Even though they're our allies.
Thomas Blamey against Kanji Ishiwara.
Who fought very well.
Yeah, he
Honestly.
held that port for a lot longer than he had any business doing with the troops that he had. Yeah, you can have military access. We didn't quit your faction so that we could spit in your face when there's a greater threat to worry about.
Low manpower.
Yeah, it's that 95 is considered fairly low. Shock and awe. Industry is still a little bit ahead of time on that. Haven't unlocked the next level of decryption yet. Oh! We can start atomic research, but do we have a focus that will give us a bonus to that? Uranium mining. Yeah, so we should wait on that so that we get 50% off our nuclear research, even if it means we get it a little bit later than we would have otherwise.
Australia as a nuclear power is wild.
Oh, yeah. Well, just researching, just splitting the atom by itself gives you a 2% research bonus on everything, so it's worth it to just develop a nuclear program, even if we're not gonna really use the bomb. But you never know, we might have to. I buffed the Axis for a reason. I buffed the Axis so we would not have a historically accurate situation where we could just sit on our asses and Germany would get destroyed like they did historically. I actually wanted to have
some tense moments, and
Yeah,
we wanted to contribute.
I mean, my dream for how this playthrough goes would be like Super Axis destroys everybody and we have to go like exile ourselves to the United States to fight a last desperate defense. Like, that's how I want this to go, to be an interesting series. Yes. Oh, did we get... Apparently we have a free research slot because I forgot to pick something. Land Doctrine is done. Artillery. We could update our artillery a little bit more.
Could always stand to. It's handy.
Yeah, no reason not to. And yeah, these are some Chinese Chinese puppet district force. So that's basically either Manchukuo or Mingkuo's military police with crappy equipment that we're fighting right now. No match for our Aussie boys. Especially when they're attacking from two directions. So yeah, I don't think we're really going to be in danger of losing these islands for the rest of the war, considering...
The United States has taken naval supremacy.
Yeah, the U.S. Navy. Yugoslavia has capitulated, though. Europe is still firmly in the hands of the Axis.
And it was Italy that did it. Look at how it was divvied up.
And in a couple days, they're going to go to war with the USSR. Yeah,
Italy took Yugoslavia out. Italy took a huge chunk of Yugoslavian territory.
Yeah, Italy, we didn't really give them that many
We gave
buffs.
them a single notch on that buff
we
screen.
made them we made Italy and Japan very, very slightly ahistorically powerful. There we go. German Reich declared war on the Soviet Union. Let's breaking the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Barbarossa is in full motion. One of my latest games was actually as the Soviet Union, and I held them at Vilno, I think. I was pretty proud of that. They didn't get any further than Vilno when I was controlling the Soviets. Yes, fine, yeah, of course, Canada. Come on. You shouldn't even have
so
to be
here's the
asking
deal.
us this.
With our seriously buffed Germany, they may very well defeat the Soviet Union here. So what we're doing is a good thing. We need to start making progress in the war on Japan.
And I mean that's the one place where World War II could have become a much nearer run thing than it was. If Germany had made it into Moscow, then the game changes.
It does.
And they weren't. That was not impossible.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't likely.
To be honest with you folks, it was a lot closer to happening than you'd think.
It was not likely, but it was not by any means impossible. So especially since we've
you
given them a buff.
you can't say it's impossible. It was close. They almost got there.
Barbarossa was kind of a botch in a lot of ways. There were definitely ways they could have done that a lot
botch
better.
that still went fairly well in the early stages. I mean, you
Yeah.
forget what it did in the first 3 weeks. The Soviets were
that's
smashed on all fronts.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is like they had the ability to capitalize that and turn that momentum into a serious,
One of the things that we're
war-winning
doing
punch,
that is
but-
good, though, is we need progress in the war here in the Pacific.
Yeah.
We need to roll back Japanese conquests. We need to inflict naval defeats on them, which our buddy the U.S. is doing.
Yeah.
And we
still are producing.
Yep.
Yeah, we're still producing ships. So.
We're rebuilding our wrecked navy.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is there's a very real chance now. I would say probable, not even plausible, that Germany defeats the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
We need to have Japan basically dealt with by the time that happens, and then it will be an all-out battle with the Reich. That is tactically ideal, in my opinion.
Indeed.
If the war in the Pacific is still a slog when the Soviet Union capitulates, we're in trouble. The Allies are in trouble.
Non-aggression. Of course, we're not going to invade Norway. How would we even do that? Of course, we want a non-aggression.
All right, sweet. We're updating our specialist forces. That's awesome.
Let's see. We're still about 250 days ahead on that shit. We're updating our artillery. Don't have the production bandwidth for armor right now. Probably we can get logistics company in 4 days. So
Why
not? That's not. Yeah, it's like we're gonna go be like, hey, New Zealand, you ever heard of a new logistics company? And they're like, yeah, it's like this. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. Get on the boat back home.
Yep, basically.
Yeah, they taught us how to do like a logistics company.
Logistics companies are actually kind of useful in Hearts of Iron.
They definitely can be, especially when you're fighting in low supply areas such as Papua New Guinea. There we go. Thanks, Kiwis. Can't get the... Oh, we can get the next level of engineers and recon.
And should.
Hell yeah.
And are about to get our next research slot, by the way.
Oh, yeah? So let's see, what does this flavor text say here? I think it's we're cooperating with the U.S., probably. Australians are intelligent and resourceful people, but we don't have the infrastructure or population for a serious scientific program. We will work with our allies, sharing knowledge and breakthroughs for mutual
We'll make
benefit.
a tech-sharing agreement with the U.S.
Oh,
So we're about to get a lot more plus
we're-
10, plus 30% research
Oh,
bonuses.
yeah. Probably some plus 75s on, like, aircraft and stuff.
Which we'll take, because
Yeah.
we want that Commonwealth aviation.
Yeah.
We're not going to be an air superpower, but we do have ambitions to be an air power,
Okay, so...
I think you would say.
Oh, yeah. Looks like we're going to have to do a standalone naval invasion for this island here. spewing because it's the only... There's no land, there's no strait we can cross to get there. So let's see, naval invade from here to here. It's going to take, once again, 28 days to prepare.
That's okay.
We're gaining some... The Adelaide Avengers actually have gained veterancy in this this island hopping, so we're not taking that many casualties.
And we're evicting the Japanese, which is important.
Yep. These guys can stop training. They're fine. Stop wasting resources. Alright, so we don't really need a war goal against Japan just yet. Even in the case that we would have enough influence at the peace table to force our own will, I think we would probably take some islands from them before we would topple their government, because someone else is going to install a favorable government there.
So, we're trying to avoid classifying aliens if we can.
Let's go down Australian arms production, pick up research collaboration for the 5th slot, and then get our uranium mining bonus.
Yeah, and probably after that, let's find out when we can get the Australian company.
Yeah, quit India movement. All right, so they've backed off of their former, more conservative position, are now going for Gandhi's idea that they should quit the British Empire as quickly as possible. But they won't do it till after the war, so... Yeah, I think...
How do we get to the Commonwealth Aviation Company? I think that should be a goal, too.
Yeah, we need...
It's a subject of the United Kingdom. Never mind.
Oh, okay. So we can't get that. So, strategic bomber, fighters... Probably want better fighters, would be my thought on that.
Probably.
Unless we want to do plus 20 reliability for heavy fighters and tactical bombers, that's a whole different way to build our Air Force. Fewer, better planes.
Higher impact, though. I would do it.
Longer ranges is going to be important in the Pacific.
Higher
theater.
impact.
Yeah.
By the way, we have hired everybody. Unless our next change, I believe, will be getting more manpower.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only place to go at this point. Service by requirement decreases our factory output by 10%, though, so we probably don't want to do that unless we absolutely have to.
Yeah.
I usually stop at extensive conscription unless shit goes
What
sideways.
about wartime economy? Are we on the one we want to be?
Yeah, the only next one up from that is total mobilization, which
looks like a bunch of bonuses.
Did they change how that worked?
Yeah, it kind of looks good to me.
Total mobilization used to suck.
Recruitable population minus 3%. That's something.
That's why. Yeah, because it nerfs your manpower. Okay.
We don't need that yet.
I knew there was a reason that total mobilization was terrible. It's because it heavily nerfs your manpower.
So I know you guys are playing war games, but every army marches on their stomach, and I made something delicious.
All right, cool. So we've got Chloe showing up with
holy crap,
rations
Woo!
for the troops.
I made amazing food, and it's mostly vegetables.
Well done.
You're welcome. Go back, TJ?
Sure.
I'll be right back.
Because I'm sure everyone just wants to hear us chewing on stuff on
That was one bite. Don't judge me. One of the things to learn about one of our Loresworn Order mates and roommate, Chloe, is that she is a phenomenal cook.
Yeah?
It's,
all right, I'll try some.
Right. There you go.
She
See?
just is.
It tastes like bacon. I made vegetables.
That is some
taste
good
like
stuff.
bacon.
As I said, incredible cook.
That is some good stuff. Not
Super
gonna lie.
excited.
Mm-hmm.
All right, continue taking over the world.
All right. The boys' anti-tank rifle.
We'll take it. Man, that is good stuff.
Yeah. Not complaining.
Almost.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I have to mouse over this. I guess we could have just sent one division over to that island. I don't think there's...
It's all good.
I don't think there are any...
Project with force. It's a military rule.